Is it good or is it bad? Well, in my opinion right now, I actually really enjoy the game. I think Payday 3 does have some massive flaws. That being said, I mean, I feel like, so what I learned from being a YouTuber and learn from, making content for Call of Duty, for Dead by Daylight, making content for a bunch of games, even Arc Raiders as well. What I come to realize is that people really, like gamers themselves, and I want to say this right now, is that I feel like gamers are very, very hard to please. And I'm looking at Reddit. I'm looking at you, Reddit. I'm being serious. I am. Because let's be honest here. So Payday 3, one of the criticisms for it is that people will say, well, Payday 3 doesn't have enough content. It doesn't have enough. I want more free content. Shoot, me too. I want nothing but free content as well, buddy. Shoot, dear God, you know what? I want video games to themselves be free, to be honest with you. I really do. I think everybody in this world wants free content. But what's so insane to me is that I truly believe that I think some people, not all gamers, just want to say, but there's some gamers that are a little bit out of touch with business. I'm saying that right now because there is a thing right now about Payday 3 is that they're trying to make money, and I actually appreciate them. A lot of people actually were giving the company flack because they came out and said, hey, we need money. Shoot, me too. And I said that too. If you guys been around for this channel for quite some time, I'm the same freaking way. I'm like, yo, dude, become a member, man. I need money too. I do. 100%. And everybody understands it, right? I know a lot of people are going to hate on them and be like, oh man, they're trying to do, I can't believe it that they're asking for money. Yeah. It takes a lot of manpower to make some DLC content, I bet. And I want to also get into that too, is because I actually do enjoy the levels. I think they have like a whole season pass that people can purchase. And I got it on sale. And personally, I don't feel like it's that expensive if you get it on sale, obviously. And I think it's quite worth it too, by the amount of missions that you actually get with the season pass. I quite enjoy it. I think it's absolutely amazing on the content that you're given, and nobody's really bringing that up. Nobody's actually giving out the fact on that. Some people are simply just saying like, oh, we want more free content, which is very difficult. But anyway, so I want to move on to the next step though, because I got into that rant right there. I want to move on to the next step. Should you get Payday 3? I think you should. If you already are done and experience Payday 2 a lot, I think you should get Payday 3. Might as well. Because if you love the Payday content, maybe you want more Payday content, Payday 3 will actually itch that urge. Because in my opinion, I don't think there's any game like it. See, this is coming from a perspective from somebody who's been playing Payday 2 since, I think like since release date. I put like thousands and thousands and thousands of hours into it, and I do enjoy it. I think the game is absolutely fun, and I would say this right now. I would say this: if you have not played Payday 2, you should play it 1000%. But if you have not played Payday 2, if you have played Payday 2, and you want more Payday content, then I really do recommend getting Payday 3. There are some criticism that we're going to get into, but I'm actually want to get into all of the pros first before we actually get into this, okay? So let's talk about it right now, okay? So Payday 3 actually got an update called the Skills 2.0, and it's honestly an amazing thing. That was actually really cool. Now there's much more build variety and compared to the last skill tree, because the last skill tree, it seems like everything was much more samey. This one is actually a little bit better now. I've seen videos being made about it, about all the builds that they can do, all the builds that people can do. But it does lead into a problem where people are saying that the game is too easy now. That it needs to actually be harder. It needs to get, buff, and which I'm actually in agreement with. I think the Payday franchise, in my opinion, I think Payday 2 also falls along with this too, is that sometimes I think the games are just a little too easy sometimes. So that's probably just a complaint to Starbreeze, more so at Payday 3 and Payday 2. They just really have a hard time trying to make a difficult game, but also making it fair. Okay. Let's move on to the next thing though, because now it's Skills 2.0. Very great thing, amazing thing. And I will make content for it too, because I actually can't wait to dive into it, because as you guys might know, Arc Raiders, I dive into all these builds that you can do. Freaking love it, right? So the next thing is that a lot of people complain about the fact that now the skill system, you have your own abilities, right? So there's this character named Jacket. He's in Payday 2. He's also in Payday 3 now. He's a DLC. A lot of people were complaining about the Jacket DLC, which is kind of odd to me because it's actually the same price as Payday 2 when Payday 2's DLC Jacket was released. You can go look that up and correct me if I'm wrong, but that was actually the same DLC price compared to Payday 3. It's kind of odd. But I'll get into that later about gamers because I want to talk more about gamers as well. So Payday 3 has this ability system where Jacket, for example, he can get a bat and he can start swinging and hitting everyone, just start meleeing everyone to death. And to me personally, that's really, really freaking fun. I think that was an amazing time. Like, I don't know anybody who is complaining about that, who is like, oh yeah, this is just awful, I freaking hate this. It's really fun. And a lot of people complain about that now the minigun is now tied to an ability. I think actually that's awesome in my opinion. I think it's really cool that it's tied to ability because here's the thing now, like Payday 2 was just this goofy thing and I look at it more like an arcadey thing, and I know there's a fan base for it, but Payday 3 is set to, it's kind of like Payday 1 and Payday 2 had a baby and they made Payday 3. Payday 1 was kind of like set in a kind of a realism type of era, but I'm not to say it didn't have some goofy moments. It did, but they were set into a more realistic tone. And then Payday 2 went a much more arcadey route, adding all these weird weapons and guns and everything. And then Payday 3 actually has now still, it combined the both because now you could keep that minigun and use it as an ability. And it used to, back then, you had to go out to go get the minigun, but now the ability comes to you, so you just grab the minigun and now you can shoot everybody. And which is amazing. I think that's really cool. And then there's this sniper rifle too that you can use and start shooting people through shields and everything. I think these weapons are so freaking amazing, and nobody's actually giving out credit because these small, like, unique, like, small little details really helps out the game. It makes it like 10 times better. And nobody's actually giving out credit where credit is due when it comes down to that. I know a lot of people actually are now complaining about the online mode. So in case nobody doesn't know, Payday 3 is always online. I would say this. I understand. And it was very controversial, but I actually understand why it's always online. Even though I may not agree with it, I kind of get it, why they did it that way. Here's the thing, folks, and I would say this right now. Out of all the single-player games I will play out there, Payday 3 is just not up there. And I know there's people in a fan base out there. Don't get me wrong. I know there is. I know there's a fan base out there and everything like that. But if I had to choose to play with my buddies, play with a group of friends, and, have a blast, or play by myself, leave my friends behind and play by myself, I would definitely just choose to play with my friends. So for them to make an online mode, even though the reason why they did it is questionable, because it's made to believe that they did it for microtransactions, and there's no microtransactions, by the way, in this game. They possibly scrapped that idea, or maybe they're saving it for a later date once they fix the game a little bit more, make it a little bit better, but it's very possible that they might have scrapped the idea. We don't know, though. That part right there might age like milk. Payday 3 it makes sense for me to be online because I always play online. That's coming from my perspective. I never ever would want to play single player. I'm sorry. I don't. And I don't know how many people would want to play single player. I made a controversial take on one of my live streams, and feel free to actually check it out and find it. I made a controversial take that I truly believe that single player games in a way are dying. But I know that there will always will be around. Always will. They will never fully die. They never will. Because there always will be around. There's always going to be players out there wanting a single player experience. But I feel like, I know to a lot of people, it sounds shocking when I say this, but I truly believe if there was money to be made, money would be made with online. Call of Duty, even with their worst game, Black Ops 7, came out and they made, actually not the best amount of money, but they made money. There's people out there, and I know there's people out there buying skins, buying stuff, want to show off to their cool friends about how much they spent on their game. It's weird, but okay. Actually, it's not that weird because I do it too. But it's just very fascinating to me about that, because when I say that, a lot of people, actually it was on my Sons of Forest stream, a lot of people were talking about how that was incorrect, and how people would, single player games are on top. Red Dead Redemption 2, baby, it's up top. Now, I may not have the data, I may not have the facts, but I will say this right now. The amount of people who I played in my friend group that wanted Red Dead Redemption 2 because of the online mode, not because of the single player mode. Matter of fact, I know some people that have not even completed the single player, but rather just want to just keep playing online mode. I asked myself, how many people bought Red Dead 2 for the online mode? And the single player was kind of like the secondary. It was kind of like the side dish. Let's move on to the next point right now, because maybe someone can educate me why Payday 3's online mode is stupid. Maybe it has something else. Someone can educate me with something else about that. Let's move on. So, I talked about the stealth system in Payday 3, and I think the stealth system is 10 times better. I think it's 1,000% better than Payday 2. 100%. I absolutely enjoyed the Payday 3 stealth system, and I'm tired of thinking it's one of the worst. I think Payday 2 stealth system is actually way worse with this arcade things and how you jump and float in the air and slow down and crouch. It's very silly to me. It's very confusing too. I don't know why. Why people are not giving credit to Payday 3 stealth system. It's just better in my eyes. There's also another thing too. Now, going right back to the gamers for this next part, because like I said, I recommend people to get Payday 3 if you've already been through all of Payday 2. Or maybe you just want a modern first-person shooter that's kind of realistic, but you're robbing stuff. I would say this. I think Payday 3 had a thing right now with its new DLC. It was kind of like a shopping mall thing. And players were upset because there was no cutscene at the end. I will say this, folks. Look, gamers nitpick everything. Goes back to my point. They're nitpicking everything. If I was making a video and I changed my wallpaper back here, would this change everything? Would this make the video 10 times better for you guys? Would it make it like, oh my god, this YouTuber's freaking sexy, super attractive, and I love the background? Or would it just be like, oh, cool, there's a background? That's how I feel with the Payday 3, right? If there was a cool cutscene at the end, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. But it's not needed. It won't prove the experience. There's a lot of things, in my opinion, that would improve the experience with Payday 3. Like I talked about, I think the difficulty needs to be better. I think they need to actually increase the difficulty, make it a little bit harder. Number 2, I actually would definitely like if they added more skills, obviously, because I'm a skill freak. Anybody who knows me, I love skills. Number 3, if possible, of course, they absolutely don't need to, but adding more ultimate special weapons. In this game, in Payday 3, I would say this is coming from me. I think the gameplay is 10 times better than Payday 2. I do. I think it's better. I think for me at least. For me. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say no, but I'm already expecting that. I just like how they blend Payday 1 and Payday 2 together and they made Payday 3. That's what I like about it. And I'm tired of people hating on individuals who like this game. And there's only a few viewers, few people playing this. I see it on Twitch. That I'm being serious. On Twitch, I know people don't care about this, but on Twitch, there's only like 4 viewers. To all 4 of you guys that are watching, awesome, man. YouTube, everything YouTube, there's like not much viewership for it. So I'm coming out here speaking for me, man, that I actually enjoy Payday 3, and I recommend people to give it a kind of a shot. I'm tired. I'm telling you guys this right now. I don't think anybody, form your own opinion. For all those people that don't like Payday 3, fine. That's fine. You might have some good reasons. One of the good reasons, like I said, was the online mode. Some people played this game maybe single player, and it's quite unfortunate, right? That they can't play it single player, right? It's quite unfortunate. Maybe they're very introverted or whatever the case may be, right? But I would say this though, I don't understand the amount of hate that a lot of games have been getting. I don't understand. Back for Blood, I would say this. I talked about Back for Blood on my channel before, so make sure you check out that video. Back for Blood was a game that I absolutely loved. Absolutely loved, and a lot of people hated it. A lot of people hated it. Don't understand why, though. Don't get it. Never understood it. Don't understand it. I just don't. Killing Floor 3, another game, I know. Another game that I actually kind of like. It gets a lot of hate too. A lot of hate as well. By the way, you know, spoiler alert, I will be making a video about Killing Floor 3. The only complaint I have for them is that there's no endless mode. It's the only complaint I have for them. I wish they actually had an endless mode. So, for me, I absolutely enjoy Payday 3. It's coming for me from a sole survivor, one of the lone people out here in the freaking world of Payday 3. There's probably like cobwebs coming out down, freaking tumbleweeds and everything. I'm probably speaking to the void here, but I would say this right now for anybody, for the 2 people, 3 people, however many people are watching this, please get Payday 3. Give it a shot, man. Really, get a few buddies, give it a shot. Come back to this video and tell me, hey, you know what? Maybe this game ain't so bad, because I think this game is overly hated, and I think this game is actually pretty good. But anyways, though, folks, that is my rant. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a comment, and make sure you subscribe if you guys enjoy this video. Thank you, guys, and let's get into Payday 3.